Tell that guy it's no way to treat a fine musical instrument. It's a little edgy.
Well, I'll tell you, it's apropos because we got ourselves a sort of rockabilly news here, believe it or not. Yeah, believe it or not. How does Cheap Trick and Fleetwood Mac fit into rockabilly?
Oh, boy, this is so professional, kids. You guys in college, this is a professional segue. Here's Kim Clarke Champnis at the Rockflash desk.
Thanks, Steve. Yeah, really, how does Cheap Trick and Fleetwood Mac fit into rockabilly? Well, you'll find out in a minute. First up, Cheap Trick. They, of course, have recently had a big hit with a remake of Elvis Presley's Don't Be Cruel. Well, the band is coming to Western Canada in the month of February. They're going to be on the road with Eddie Money. Here are 3 dates that have been announced by local promoters, Periscope. First up, in Calgary, February the 19th, Cheap Trick with Eddie Money will be at the Saddle Dome. Edmonton, February the 20th at Northlands Coliseum. And Cheap Trick, along with Eddie Money, will be in Vancouver, February the 24th, PNE. Right, from Cheap Trick into Fleetwood Mac. But before we get to Fleetwood Mac, if you're a hardcore fan, maybe you can recognize this particular tune. Well, if you are a hardcore fan, you may know that cult classic, which is 10 years old now. It comes from the Rezillos album, and the song is Somebody's Gonna Get Their Head Kicked In Tonight. Nice romantic number there. Well, what's really quirky about it is that, in fact, that is a cover tune. And the band that originally did that song was, believe it or not, Fleetwood Mac. Take a look at this. This is their 1969 single, Man of the World, which went to #1 in the United Kingdom that year. On the flip side of Man of the World is this particular song. Somebody's going to get their head kicked in tonight, and they did it under a pseudonym, Earl Vince. Can you see that? Earl Vince and the Valiants, and that was the alter ego of Fleetwood Mac. The whole idea behind it was the songwriter Jeremy Spencer, who played alongside Peter Green at the time. This is what Jeremy Spencer looked like in 1969. Well, the man really did have a sense of humor, and also he was a great person who could parody numbers. I got a chance to speak to Mick Fleetwood recently about that particular song.
The subject matter is very obvious. It's you know, the bother boots, and you know, and kicking your head in, and like, you know, someone's going to get your head kicked in.
And it's a rockabilly too.
It's yeah, with very different words, you know. Just I mean, that's what it's all about. Is the bother boys, you know.
But did it just happen right there and then? You just said, well,
no, Jeremy. That was one of Jeremy's many characters.
Ah.
Was this character, you know? Oh, you have kick your head in, you know. And so he decided to take him into the studio one time and do this song, and that's how it came about. I mean, Jeremy was like a chameleon. He had so many different characters, as you know. Like on stage, he used to do an Elvis Presley impersonation, come on with the big gold lame suit and lots of padding in the trousers, you know. That was Jeremy. He never actually, very rarely did he show his own music. On Kiln House, he wrote one song which was a song he wasn't hiding behind some other character, because he played slide guitar, Elmore James style, and he did it so well that basically he became Elmore James, and that's what he kept doing. If you ever heard his solo album, it was really a collection of all sorts of stuff. I wish I could tell Jeremy, but he's, I think, in the Indian Ocean somewhere, on some weird island, as you know, with the children of God.
Yes.
I'm sure he'd like to hear it.
Quirky band, that Fleetwood Mac. That very last shot with the guy with his hands over his eyes with the long fingernails is in fact Peter Green, who, like Jeremy Spencer, is also very much a recluse these days. That is it from Rockflash for now. Steve Anthony will return right after these messages.